All right, crew. You just read the introduction to section 4.2, where you learned a little bit about genetic traits. So you guys get genes from your mom and from your dad, and that tells what you're going to look like. So I saw some of you lifting your hair, and you saw that you have a widow's peak. Some of you were examining your ears to see if they're attached or detached. Okay? These are all different traits people have. So we're going to use this to get to our main goal, our objective today, to figure out percents, to find percents. Okay? So on your lab sheet that I just passed out, at the top I'd like you guys to write your objective for today. And that's, how do we use part and whole to find a percentage? So write it right at the top. How do we use part and whole to find a percentage? So let's fill out the rest of our table here. And we've already been given one part, and that's the number of people who have each of these traits. Let's put a little P so we know one part. And we've been given the total. Let's put a W for our whole. So we're missing the no part. That's what we need to find. All right, so attached earlobes. Bryn, how many people do not have attached earlobes? All right, is 12 plus 28 30? Plus what would be 30? I'll come right back to you, okay? While she's thinking, Megan, how many people do not have dimples? All right, how many people do not have straight hair, Michaela? 6. And how many people do not have a widow's peak, Ryan? 13. All right, how many people do not have attached earlobes, Bryn? 18, there you go. Okay, so we have our parts, both of our parts figured out. I'm going to do attached earlobes for you, and you're going to do the rest of them by yourselves. You guys are going to be part of our video today. So I want you to scroll down on your sheet, and I want you to make a 4 square out of the rest of your sheet. I'm looking for some really amazing work today. In the first, like the upper left-hand quadrant, let's write attached earlobes. I'm going to look at my table and write down my parts and my whole. Okay? And I want to know the percentage of people who, yes, they do have attached earlobes. So, looking at my table, I can see that 12 people have attached earlobes, and that's out of my whole of 30. Now, I'm looking at my my ratio so far, and I'm thinking, oh, darn it, I can't count by 30 to get to 100. So what should I do, Jackson? What should I do?
Divide by 6.
Okay, I can scale down. Tell us why you picked 6.
Because when you divide 6 by 30, when you divide 30 by 6, you get 5.
Yeah, and then, sorry. Yeah, so we'll divide each of these by 6. So we get 2/5. Yeah, and Jackson's right. We can easily scale up this 5. What do we need to multiply by, Jackson?
20.
By 20. So that means we have 40 over 100, okay? So out of 100 people, 40 of them would have attached earlobes. We're going to write that as a percent in just a little bit. The other thing I want you to do today is to pretend like we have a room of 500 people. And using our same ratio and using our percent of 40%, I want to know how many people would have attached earlobes. Yeah, Finn, what can we do?
200. You could multiply 40 by 5.
Okay, how come we're multiplying by 5?
Because you want to get the 100 people as the whole to 500.
Yeah. So we can multiply both of our values times 5. So what would we have, Finn?
You'd have 200 on the part and 500 as the whole.
You got it. All right, so that was 2 things that I asked you to do for this. So let's actually write out our answer. We have beautiful work, but if somebody looked at it, they wouldn't be sure what our answer is. So the first thing I want you guys to write down is 40% of people. You can abbreviate people if you'd like to. I did PPL. Have attached earlobes. Okay, so that's the first question you're going to answer. Here's the second one. In a group of 500 people, 200 would have attached earlobes. All right, we did the first one together. I would like for you guys to put dimples in the other top quadrant. And then you have straight hair. And the last one you'll have is widow's peak. We'll check in about 5 minutes.
So what I did was that I had 7/30ths, which I came up from the chart above, and then I times it by 100 because me and Seamus didn't know, because we were thinking of doing it by 10, but then we decided it would be much more easier to do it by 100, so we timed it by 100, and then after that we divided it by 30. And then we got 23.3 repeated, and then we times that by 5, and we got 116.5, and we decided that you couldn't really have like half of a dimple. So
We're half a person, yeah.
Yeah, so we decided to do 116. So we wrote at the bottom, 23% people have dimples, and in a group of 500 people, 116 people would have dimples.
I actually wrote that. You're fine. Crew, I would have taken 116 or 117. Thanks, Ryan.
So first I multiplied by 10, which is 300 and 170.
So we're starting by looking at straight hair.
Oh yeah. I divided by 6 first, which gives me 4 and 5, and then I multiplied by 20, which is 80 and 100, and then to get the 500, I just multiplied by 5.
Yeah. So what percent of people have straight hair?
80%, and then 400, there's 500 people.
Yeah, so if we had a group of 500 people, 400 of them would have straight hair. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I times 30 by 10 and 17 by 10, and then I divided those by 3, which got 56% of people have a widow's peak, and then I multiplied that by 5, So in a group of 500 people, 283 people would have lived.